But before the service starts, I did want to ask you about these protests that we've seen, where you are in Washington, D.C., where I spent some time last week, in Minneapolis, and literally every state in this country over the past 15 days. Protests that we should note once again have been largely peaceful. Jonathan, one of the things that, and I thought that when I was in D.C., it was just D.C. because of the demographics of our nation's capital. And then I get to Minneapolis, and the same was true. You and I have had a number of conversations after someone who looks like us dies in the hands of police custody, and then there are marches and rallies after. But you go to the marches and rallies, and by and large, the folks at the marches and rallies, they also look like us. Not so this time. Right. I have been struck by the number of white people in America who are fed up, who are angry, who've taken to the streets not once, not twice, but every day en masse for more than 2 weeks.
Yeah. Craig, it is truly incredible, and I think it is the result of a confluence of events. One is the one thing we've been talking about the most is we know George Floyd's name and what happened to George Floyd because we were able to watch it with our own eyes. And it is a video that, again, I have not watched in its entirety because I just simply can't. But the fact that millions of people in the United States and around the world did watch it and were horrified and were moved because they have a moral core to not just sit on the sidelines and tweet nice things about Black Lives Matter, but to take to the streets and demand it, not just for one day, but now for 14, 15 days, making that message known. The other thing that I think is feeding into the anger that there is in the country is the fact that we have in the White House a president of the United States who is pouring gasoline on a situation that requires healing, that requires moral authority. And the American people are not getting it. And in fact, at the very moment when the American people were looking to the president for that comfort, for that healing, if anyone still believes that he's able to do that, he unleashed the park police, the military police on peaceful demonstrators at Lafayette Square, the park just in front of the White House, and have them pushed back using all sorts of riot compression matters live on national television. People saw the split screen of the president talking about law and order from the Rose Garden while military police were pushing back peaceful demonstrators. And I think that offended people's sense of democracy, equity, and justice, that it also compounded the anger, rage, and sorrow felt for the killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and Walter Scott and Tamir Rice and all the other mostly African-American men and women who have been killed by law enforcement or killed through what we call extrajudicial killings.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.